In this video, we're going to talk about how to use the midpoint formula and coordinates in order to find the midpoint given points for a graph. Okay, so over here we are given the graph with a couple of points on there. We have A, B, and C. We were told that B is at -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we need to figure out where A and C is so that we can use it to answer the questions below. Okay, so if we find A, it's over at 1, 1, 2. So remember, we move in the X direction and then in the Y. So we go left and right and then up and down in order to find coordinates. So over here for C, we didn't move at all in the X, so 0, -1, because we moved 1 down. Now that I have my coordinates, we can go to the problems. So here I have find the midpoint of segment AB. So I'm trying to find the midpoint between these 2 points. So I'll do this problem in red to show that we're trying to find the midpoint there. Now notice it's not really easy to figure out what the midpoint is looking at that. Okay? It's in the middle of a box. It's not on a crossing point, so we can't really find it. So that's when the midpoint formula comes into play. I have the coordinates of A and B, so I can plug them in. Let's say that we choose A as our point 1 and B as our point 2. So A is going to be my x1, y1, which is going to be 1 and 2. And B is going to be my x2, y2, which is going to be -4 and 3. Now I can use these to plug it into the midpoint formula. So I'm going to have parentheses, x1 plus x2, so 1, and we could say -4 because it's a negative, but let's do plus -4 just to stay consistent with the formula, divided by 2, comma, oops, sorry, no parenthesis yet, comma, my y1, y2, which is going to be 2 plus 3 over 2, parentheses. And so when I simplify that, I get -3 halves, comma, 5 halves, as my coordinate for my midpoint. And that's all you do. So my midpoint is going to be at -3 halves, comma, 5 halves. Which if we come to our graph, and we go over here, we go 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry. -3 halves is 1 1/2, so we go 1 1/2, and then 1, 2, and boom. And that looks pretty dead center right in the middle. Another way we could write this is -1.5, comma, 2.5. Another way you could write it in decimal form if you don't like the fractions. Okay? Let's take a look at the second one, which is from segment BC. So I have segment BC. I'll draw a line in blue and do this problem in blue. Once again, kind of hard to see where it might be. It might be right here at 1, 2, 1, but I'm not quite sure. So let's double check. So first I need to pick my coordinates. So let's do B as 2 again, but this time C can be 1. So C will be my x1, y1, so C is going to be 0, -1 for my x1, y1, and B is going to once again be that -4 and 3. So now we come over here and we plug in our parts. Again, I can't emphasize enough that you take the time to write out your parts separately from your formula so that you can look and just easily plug in. So if we come here, I have my parentheses and my comma. My x1, x2 is going to be 0 plus -4 over 2. And my y1, y2 is going to be -1 plus 3 over 2. And so when I simplify that, I end up with -4 over 2 and 2 over 2, which simplifies down to -2 and 1. Remember your tic-tac-toe in order to figure out your signs. Okay, I have a negative divided by a positive, so my answer should be negative. Okay, and hence -2. So my midpoint is in fact at -2, 1, which if I come here, I go 1, 2, and look at that, I was right. Looking at the graph, there's my midpoint of segment BC. And that is how you use midpoint formula to find the midpoint when you're only given coordinates of the segment points. Okay?